at the point when the 777X took to the skies for the initial time. On the 25th of January 2020, there was an expansive feeling of hopefulness from Boeing and aircrafts, the most recent series of 777X, twin-motor jetliners which comprise of the 777-9 and 777-8 could turn into a moment achievement anyway. 3 years of pandemic and numerous postponements afterward, and just the Scramble 9 appears to have a characterized future. The Scramble 8, then again, has been battling and really can't get off the ground. In a real sense, and metaphorically in truth, it looks so awful that aircrafts are beginning to trade. The Scramble 8 for its greater sibling, the Scramble 9. So what is happening with the Scramble 8? For what reason is it not selling as well as the Scramble 9? To comprehend what the issue is, we first need to investigate the Scramble 8. The 777-8 is the more modest variation of the Scramble 8, and it concerns Boeing's cutting-edge 777X twin-motor arrangement and should be the normal replacement of Boeing's 777-300 Trauma Center. However, the Scramble 8 is a little more modest than the 777-300 Trauma Center, yet being known as a more modest variation here could appear to be a piece misleading on the grounds that the Run 8's highlights are everything except little to begin with. The clearest include of the Scramble 8, its wings. The Scramble 8 shares a similar wingspan as the Scramble 9, which is 235.56 feet or 71.8 meters. All things considered, its wings are about 15 bigger than the unique 777 series. Yet these wings aren't only for show. You see, the virtuoso thing about these bigger wings of the 777X family is that it will diminish drag and produce more noteworthy lift. This helps make the planes more fuel proficient than the better believe it, demonstrating that in this case size matters. Then we have its motors. Both the Scramble 8, also the Scramble 9, come outfitted with the new GE 9X motors, which are the biggest, furthermore, most impressive business motors to date. Its strong motors consume less fuel and produce 30 less outflow, contrasted with the first 777 series. Notwithstanding that it is said by GE that the GE 9X are their calmest motors worked to date. So if we add all the above to the Scramble 8, we have a stream that is equipped for flying distances more than 700 nautical miles and can extend 350 to 385 travelers, to lay it out plainly. The Scramble 8 is a force to be reckoned with of a fly anyway. In spite of all these elements, the Scramble 8 is met with a tepid gathering, and its future appears questionable, and it's nothing unexpected. Why, truly, when we take a gander at it closer, you see we can all concur that the Scramble 8 is an exceptionally strong plane anyway. It appears like Boeing neglected to ask itself one significant inquiry: is there interest for a plane like the Scramble 8? Well, when we look at the orders the Scramble Gorilla got so far, the response appears to be reasonable and conclusive. No, as a matter of fact, when we check it out closer, we saw 4 huge issues that will paint us a reasonable picture on why the Scramble 8 isn't taking off like its older sibling, the Scramble 9. The first issue is something that Boeing appears to have disregarded, called timing issue 1. You see, one of the reasonable issues the Run 8 is confronting, since it was declared, is the planning of the delivery. As all of you realize, timing is seemingly the most significant variable for progress when it comes to following through with something like delivering an airplane, since market patterns can represent the moment of truth. What appear to be extraordinary thoughts at the place of origination? Furthermore, that has been a relentless issue so far with the Boeing 8, that is on the grounds that, dissimilar to the Scramble 9, which had a hole in the market it could fill because of carriers gradually getting rid of comparative size. Be that as it may, more established airplane like the Boeing 747, Airbus A380, the Scramble 8 still goes up against the Boeing 777-300 emergency room, which being replacing was assumed, notwithstanding every one of the astounding elements. The Run 8 shows there is, by all accounts, no rush from carriers to supplant the emergency room. And it's nothing unexpected, truly, on the grounds that despite the fact that the emergency room is just about 20 years of age in flight activities, it is still generally utilized by aircrafts, like Emirates, for instance, that has in excess of 100 emergency rooms in its munitions stockpile. Also, when we contrast the Scramble 8 and the Trauma Center, the Scramble 8 doesn't look engaging enough for aircrafts to put resources into monetarily for this situation. in the event that we analyze the costs of an emergency room to that of the Scramble 8 that carriers would need to contribute. About 30 million bucks, something else for a fly that can convey about 20 or so more travelers. Be that as it may, this for carriers is simply not sufficiently engaging. What's more, the emergency room is, as yet, bringing in cash for themselves. And in the event that you consider that the normal retirement age of an airplane is near 25 years, then the emergency room actually has a decent 5 years in it. So returning to what we expressed before, there's no direness for aircrafts to supplant the trauma center. The as it were thing that may intrigue for carriers is that the Scramble 8 has a superior range than the emergency room. Eventually, market be that, as it may, even in lengthy or ultra-long stretch Issue 2 travel where the Scramble 8 more prominent reach gives it a benefit over the trauma center. They are still in contest with the Airbus A350-900 and a 350-1000, which have currently hit the skies and keep up with high request, assuming we consider that long-stretch courses are not intensely dealt to this date. It would be a daunting task for the Scramble 8 to acquire some traction in this market. However, the Scramble 8 demonstration class is the 35,000, 900, and 1,000, the two in range and traveler limit. It won't be a simple assignment for the Scramble 8 to usurp the Airbus models. Yes, the Scramble 8 has a better reach and can convey more travelers on a solitary flight anyway. The A350 models are demonstrated to be very well known with various carriers, and shockingly, they have a skill for breaking records for the longest immediate business trips. Truth be told, the longest distance business flight you can book today, which is Singapore to New York, JFK, is flown by Singapore carriers with an Airbus A350-900 ULR. So the A350 series can fly the course, the Run 8 can. However, they can likewise fly a couple courses thanks to the 900 ULR, where the Run 8 can't. What's more is that if aircrafts would put resources into the Scramble 9, they would have a plane that is greater, convey a larger number of travelers, yet has less reach than the A350 anyway. The ultra-long stretch market is a very specialty explicit market, so eventually the Scramble 9 would appear to be more good for carriers than the Run 8. However, at that point, again, regardless of whether the A350S didn't exist, there might in any case be a chance that the Boeing 8 would battle, since the 777-200 Leon that was intended to prevail in the ultra-long stretch market likewise battled. Then there are the postpones, which the majority of, about Boeing has tracked down at Issue 3, hard to get all the required accreditations to start large-scale manufacturing, particularly for the GE 9X motors, which has prompted them moving the dates for the section of the airplane into administration. With this multitude of postpones, most aircrafts have no issue with keeping away from requesting any new airplanes. And presently, even the Center Eastern carriers halfway answerable for the plan of the Scramble 8, for example, Emirates have started subbing their Scramble 8 orders for its greater sibling, the Scramble 9, due to the confirmation postponements and scratch-offs still quite possibly request shoots up. Soon as the Run 8's rivals age, however, at that point there's consistently the chance that the patterns in the flight business could create some distance from the Scramble 8's best offer when the opportunity arrives, notwithstanding if patterns don't transform. It doesn't truly intend that the Scramble 8s will be free on the grounds that there's one last significant impediment to the progress of the Scramble 8 that is neglected by most. Recall how we said that Center Eastern Issue 4 carriers are somewhat liable for the plan of the Scramble 8. Well, as per reports, Boeing's plan of the Scramble 8 was impacted by the cravings of key players in the Center Eastern flight industry. For example, Qatar and Emirates. Both aircrafts are quite possibly of the greatest clients for the 777X venture. So Boeing, not having any desire to lose their greatest clients, bowed its knee, and it shows in its plan the 777X's airframe, particularly its gigantic wings and huge motor, are worked for an explanation, and that reason is to fly in the cruel desert environment on various occasions. A day you see planes working in this sort of environment are intended to suit hot and dry environment conditions better compared to most planes. Yet this came at the expense of proficiency and monetary reasonability, since all the excess power wound up being pointless for generally other conditions. Can we say whether this is 100 valid or not? No, anyway, you can't reject that. The Scramble 8's airframe, particularly its monstrous wings, What's more, huge motors stick out, and not in a great way. Take the motor. For instance, albeit the GE9X motors are strong and effective, they weigh north of 21,000 pounds, and in a market where carriers are endeavoring to accomplish less weight per flight every year, this plays against the Scramble 8. Besides, it makes the plane less proficient as need might arise more push for every departure since it is excessively weighty. Fortunately, there's a potential answer for the weight issue, which is supplanting the carbon fiber built up polymer parts of the wings with the lighter, less expensive aluminum lithium, composite or rear entryway. These composites are especially reasonable to any application where the solidarity to weight proportion is basic and exhaustion braking is a worry, which implies the Scramble 8 is an ideal applicant. As a matter of fact, Airbus, as of now, involves the compound for fuselage skin sheet material in their A350S, anyway, supplanting the carbon fiber-supported polymer with the aluminum-lithium combination. Furthermore, the Scramble 8 is actually quite difficult, however, and it would be an extravagant process. It leaves you thinking, what might have been assuming Boeing would have utilized our leave from the very start? Still, the Scramble 8 has seen some minor achievement, however, just not in business flight. The eventual fate of the Scramble 8 is carriers anticipate the activity of the Run 8 for business flights. Boeing has been working in the background to convey a changed-over vessel variant of the Scramble 8, which they say is the most eco-friendly and naturally agreeable vessel in their arrangement. It probably won't be just about as powerful as the unique Scramble 8. Yet it's a stage in the right heading for Boeing as they keep on figuring out the issues of certificate for their fundamental arrangement. However, still, when we set up everything, obviously there essentially isn't enough interest for the Scramble 8. It appears as though Boeing is experiencing the same thing as Airbus was back when they sent off the A319neo, and there was no interest for neo as a result of the A220. Just put it, appears to be that the Scramble 8 and the emergency room are tearing apart, and it boils down to the reality that Boeing just began too soon with the Scramble 8. Perhaps if the send-off happened 5 to 6 years down the line, there might have been an 8 alternate feeling from the market, and they would have replaced the 777 the emergency room or one of the Airbus A350 models in the market anyway. The way things are correct, presently the Scramble 8 will be battling for a while before its requests will increment. Outro, so do you think the Scramble 8 actually has a chance, seeing every one of the issues the Boeing 8 is confronted with? It's difficult to see how it turns out, particularly for steady traveler flight. However, when it comes to the flying business, you can't truly foresee anything, and everything necessary for the tide to change is a solitary episode or very much pursued open door. It's passed on to see what Boeing does straight away. The truth is that Boeing hasn't retired its arrangements for the Scramble 8, and that implies they actually trust in the long-haul possibilities of the airplane.